And good morning, everyone. Welcome to the big show here on Tuesday, the last day of July, and still warm and humid out there. I'll tell you about the weather in just a moment. On our show today, from Harvard Eye Associates, we have Dr. John Hovannisian, and we're going to talk about a very topical topic. We're going to talk about UV protection for your eyes, and here we are in the middle of summer, and how extremely important that is. Also, we have a guest from Escrow Options that's going to talk about their different services. We're also going to bring you a couple of segments. One is down at Crystal Cove that Lisa took a nice little tour of, and all about the Crystal Cove Foundation. And I took a tour of the El Toro Water District garden, their demonstration garden, and we're going to bring you both those segments as well. Now, as far as meetings go today, we have 3 meetings, Disaster Preparedness Task Force, and that is going to be in the Cypress Room at 9:30. At 1:30 is the third residency policies, is the third Residency Policies and Compliance Task Force. And then at 2 o'clock in the Sycamore Room, United has their finance meeting. Now, as far as the weather goes today, well, for the next 2 or 3 days, we're going to see pretty much what we've been having over the last few days, warm and humid as that monsoonal moisture continues. After that, we're going to still have warm weather, but the humidity will be less so, so it'll feel a little bit better. And that's probably going to begin more on about Thursday or Friday, just depending how that switches out. But overall, you can see the temperatures do go up as we make our way to next weekend, but the humidity level will go down. So I guess that's kind of good news. Around Orange County and beyond today, everything else is about what we had yesterday. Actually, yesterday, I think overall, everywhere was probably about 3 or 4 degrees warmer than what I said it was going to be. So today I kind of adjusted that a little bit. I brought the temps back up, and overall just another warm, humid day. Beaches are pretty nice at 83, at Palm Springs 111, but overall about the same. And of course the chances of thunderstorms in the mountains and the Inland Empire do remain. So if you're out there, they did get them yesterday. It's not too bad, it's the afternoon storms, but if you're traveling to those areas for some reason, please keep that in mind. All right, we'll be right back with Harvard Eye.
When a loved one requires ongoing assistance and attention, yet retains the ability to maintain a degree of independence in their life, home-related care and caregiving become viable alternatives to an existence dependent upon hospitalization. Your home care provides thoughtful general care and assistance with the basic necessities of daily living, all within familiar surroundings, and with a compassionate eye toward preserving dignity, independence, and quality of life. Our experienced and dependable caregivers, registered, qualified, and background screened, provide companionship and help at home. The superior service provided by your home care enables your loved one to remain independent and secure in the comfort of familiar surroundings. Call 949-215-0004 to schedule a personal in-home consultation.
Looking for a change of scenery? You don't have to play golf to enjoy all that 19 Restaurant and Lounge has to offer. From our delicious breakfast menu to our delectable lunch and dinner specials. At 19 Restaurant and Lounge, there is something for everyone. Relax with your friends and family and take in the beautiful view from our spacious patio. Or enjoy a cocktail and appetizer in our lounge. 19 Restaurant and Lounge is a great place to socialize, enjoy a meal, or simply take in the view. Join us 7 days a week and experience Laguna Woods' exclusive dining experience.
Your body is made for work, play and adventure, all the things that make life amazing. But when pain gets in the way, turn to Hoag Orthopedic Institute to get you back to doing the things you love. At Hoag Orthopedic Institute, we're experts at getting you out of pain and back to golf, running, or yoga. Whatever makes you, you.
The eye care experts at Harvard Eye Associates have been treating the vision of patients in Southern California for over 30 years. As a leader in multi-specialty eye care, our doctors specialize in cataracts, glaucoma, retina, cornea, LASIK vision correction, oculoplastics, and diabetic eye care. As an approved FDA research center, our doctors offer surgical techniques and technology not available to the general public. Harvard Eye Associates, the future of vision today. Laguna Hills, San Clemente. Call 800-974-EYES.
Well, you know the term, I wear my sunglasses at night, that famous song. Well, I may not wear them at night. However, my guest right now, Dr. John Hovannisian, would certainly recommend you using these during the day. Am I right?
These are some bright studio lights,
yes,
my friend, and I'm glad you had those on for even just a moment. That's right. Do I look cool? I don't look nearly as cool as you look.
Ah, you're looking cool right there.
I look cooler, and my eyes are cooler for having the protection. These are very nice, too. The classic Wayfarer style.
They are.
Sunglasses. Good for you.
Hey, let's talk about this because, you know, year-round in California, obviously we need sunglasses, but let's talk about the importance and what you should look for in sunglasses. And I think nowadays almost the UV protection is built into almost every sunglass sold, I would think.
You know, it's interesting, the labeling requirements, they're very loose labeling requirements for sunglasses, and unlike a lot of other products that relate to safety on the market, you know, they have regulations as to what you can claim with drugs and other medical devices, but not with sunglasses. So a decent brand is a good idea, but you don't need to spend a fortune to have good sun protection. Inexpensive sunglasses, as long as they have 100% UV protection, are probably fine. And then beyond that, it has to do with the fit. As nice, actually, can we use these as an example? The Wayfarers are a great classic look for sunglasses, but what they lack, and they're not terrible, but they lack side protection. And in many cases, the front of the lens is tilted forward, you know, in a way that is designed to minimize reflection, but also allows sun to enter from the top with Wayfarers.
That's a good point.
You know, so that's, if there's a shortcoming to this classic design, that is it. You'll find more, you know, modern styles of sunwear usually have a wraparound design, and that provides really nice protection. So a wraparound design, 100% UV protection, you know, is it. A lot of people ask about polarization. Have you heard about?
Oh, sure.
Polarization is mostly to help you see better. What polarization allows is you to see through a reflective surface. Like if you're looking for fish below the water surface, you can see them because it cuts down on the glare off the surface. And that's also helpful if you're driving in the rain, or, you know, and it's a bright day, or you've got wet road surfaces or reflective surfaces. So polarization is not essential for eye protection. It just gives you better vision.
Okay, that's good to know because you know, again, most sunglasses nowadays they're polarized, which is weird if you've ever noticed when you look at your phone. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see.
Yeah, exactly. If you tilt the phone on the side, it gives you, you know, it may black out because this has got a polarized surface on it too, just like your eye does. So
tell us what the UV protection really does.
Well, so UV is a far end portion of the light spectrum. You know, light that we see as white, or in the case of yellow from the sun, is yellow because the blue part of the light is scattered, right? That's why the sky is blue. But it's composed of many different colors, but the invisible colors are at the UV end of the spectrum, the lower end of the wavelength spectrum, the higher end of the frequency spectrum if you're into physics, and that means higher energy photons of light, which can be destructive to tissue. And what's interesting about the eye, naturally we need a sunscreen to protect all our skin, because especially at this time of year with long hours of sunlight, we're at risk. But the eye is mucous membranes that are exposed. You know, our other
Right.
mucous membranes, like in our mouth, are not exposed to the sun, at least very much. But our eyes are constantly exposed if they're not covered, and that can cause damage to those tissues. They don't have the keratin, the hard part of what makes our skin tough. You know, it's lacking, and so there's less sort of protection from the elements. And that's why sunglasses are a very helpful thing. And there's a whole variety of diseases that arise in the eye as a result of sun damage.
What about when it's not sunny out? We've got, as you know, not uncommon, especially the first part of summer here, the fog.
Yeah.
And we get that for a good part of the day.
Yeah.
Do you still need sunglasses?
I wear sunglasses when it's bright out, regardless of when
So
it's,
do I,
and you probably do too, because
Yeah.
you, like me, have light-colored eyes.
Yeah.
We're both kind of blue-eyed guys who are, and lighter-eyed people tend to be more sensitive to sun because
Yeah.
we have less pigment in the eye to absorb the light that comes through. So as a general rule, brown-eyed people don't feel as much the need for sunglasses, but very often need the sunglasses because you may have darker colored skin that protects you from certain skin disorders to a degree, but your eyes are probably not. And so that poses, you know, additional risk to you. So the answer to your question is, if it's bright, it's a good idea to wear sunglasses even when it's cloudy. And certainly when the sun is coming through directly, you should wear them.
And I would assume that it's something that you would recommend even for kids. I know a lot of kids don't like wearing them, or
Yeah.
they forget. My daughter's kind of that way. It just seems starting kind of this year, she's wearing sunglasses. She's like 11 and a half, more and more.
Yeah.
But for years, we'd be walking around somewhere and, you know, it's bright sunny day, and it didn't seem to bother her, yet she has light-colored eyes.
Since birth, I've been chasing around my kids to try to get them to wear
Yeah.
sunglasses, and I've probably had no more success than you've had. You'd think the kid of an eye doctor who treats
Yeah.
sun damage would be a
Okay.
little better at this, but the fact is it's very hard to modify their behavior. It's a good habit to establish from an early age. The other thing we should add also is that wearing a hat.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference. You know, a hat with a brim.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
And, you know, baseball cap style is good, but it's better if you have a broader brim. And, you know, that'll cut down as much as 60% of the sunlight that's coming toward the eye just by having a hat on. So, and then combining the two, hat with sunglasses is even better, probably the best thing. And of course, you additionally protect the skin of your face.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
You
you
get a
want to,
2 for
you know,
1.
you want to keep looking like you're in your 20s, like
Yes.
you and like me.
I don't know about that, at least for me. But okay, let's talk about you know, maybe you're out all day and maybe you didn't wear sunglasses that much, or even if you didn't, you come home and your eyes are really bothering you. We've all been there. It almost feels like your eyes are burning in a sense. What can you do? What's the best thing when you get home? Cold compress or what?
A cool compress is a good way to make them feel better. And lubricating eye drops. Probably everybody should have lubricant eye drops in their medicine cabinet. And they make lots of different varieties. At the drugstore, they're available without a prescription. Some are more expensive than others. Some have brand names. Really, any one is okay, but look for the label lubricant eye drops.
Okay.
We generally don't recommend drops that tell you that they get the red out, because most of those on the market have chemicals in them that end up making the problem worse.
Okay.
And so best to just stay away from them. Just lubricant eye drops is what to look for at the store.
Okay.
And you can refrigerate those too, by the way.
Oh, you can?
You can. They don't hurt in any way to do that. And in fact, it feels, for a lot of people, really soothing to put a cool temperature
Yeah,
drop in the eye.
I didn't know you could do that. Yeah.
You can actually refrigerate any eye drops. It's a good way to be sure it goes in the eye, because, you know, when it's cold, you feel it in the eye. It doesn't harm the drops at all to do that. And for a lot of people, it makes it easier to take them.
Okay, there was something that I heard years ago, and I don't know if this is true, that you don't want sunglasses that are too dark because it actually opens your pupil up. Now, maybe that's just something I read years ago and it's not true.
Yeah, the
What's your
trade-off
take on that?
with darker sunglasses is a couple of things. One is that it's harder to see in environments that are not that bright. That fear of more damage to the eye because of a larger pupil allowing more light in is probably unfounded, though, because realistically the darker lenses are not allowing as much of any light in. And again, if they're 100% UV protecting, the harmful light rays are not getting through, the most harmful light rays.
And I, by the way, I do have a wraparound pair that I keep. I always keep an extra
Putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, I always keep an extra. I mean, I like these a lot, but I always keep an extra pair of my sunglasses in my car just in case I forget these. And as I told the doctor here that I found some online, and they were like $5 or $6 each, and they do have 100% UV protection. They're, you know, really cheap, real thin little plastic, but I use those when I go into the pool because I always have sunglasses, or I use them. They're an extra one I keep in the backpack that I take to Disneyland or something, kind of for the same purpose.
Sure. Yeah, you can kick them around, and if they get broken or lost, you're not going to cry about it because it didn't cost you over $100. It's a great lesson that you don't need to spend a fortune to have good sun protection. What do you get with better, quote, better quality or brand name glasses, Ray-Bans like these, or Maui Gyms, or, you know, there's a bunch of different brands. You get better optics. You know, the lenses have better engineering. There's beautiful coatings inside that help to make things more vivid. You get a fashion statement that you know, is up to you if you want to have it. And generally, they're a little better quality built. You know, they're not going to fall apart like some of the knockoff brands will. But look, you know, if it's a matter of wearing or not wearing, wear cheap ones. You know, as opposed to nothing, because your eyes need the protection, and they'll get most of it with almost any pair of sunglasses. So that's a great point to make.
Let's talk about people who need to wear glasses all the time.
Yeah.
And often they choose to go with the, I always forget, the transition.
Yeah.
I guess that's the term.
Very popular.
And those have UV coating built into them as well?
They now do, and for a number of years they do. And they're nice because they're convenience. You don't need to own multiple pairs of glasses. You don't need to have a prescription sunglasses as well. You know, the challenge is, for example, with the glasses you have here on the counter, if these were, actually the others.
Oh, these are my cheap little $5 readers.
And yet they're a good example because, you know, a lot of people have glasses that might look like this that are a standard pair of glasses. When you make them dark, even with or without sun protection, there's a lot of light that comes in on the side. They're smaller lenses, and so they don't have the wraparound design. So that is sort of a downside of transition lenses. They're convenient, but they probably don't provide quite as much protection because they don't have the side coverage that you do with your wraparound glasses.
I remember the ultimate wraparound glasses. I don't know if you remember this, because I think I'm older than you, but they were made by Sea and Ski. Do you remember Sea and Ski brand?
Sea and Ski, boy, that's a good blast.
They
from the
made
70s.
Back then it was suntan lotion.
Yes, right.
But they made these glasses. They look like cyborg glasses, and they were a thin little band.
Yes,
of opening,
and they sure looked cool. At
they
least
did.
Then they did.
You know, I
you don't see a lot of them around nowadays, do you?
No, but I bet if you found an original pair, they'd be worth a lot of money.
They might be.
But those were the
Just to wear
ultimate
to a party, I
wraparounds.
think.
Yeah, they would be kind of fun.
Those were, you know, a great fashion statement, but not a lot of
probably
protection.
didn't get a lot of vision in there.
Yeah.
And back then, I don't think sunglasses had UV protection. They were just dark lenses.
You know, the labeling then was a lot less consistent than it is now. Most plastic lenses, interestingly, most lenses you'll come across are plastic. Most plastic lenses are UV protecting. They get at least a high level of UV protection because it's sort of built into the plastic materials. They don't permit a lot of UV transmission. That's not 100% of UV, and it's not 100% of plastic lenses.
That's
the
good
other
to
thing
know.
we should talk about is for folks who have something on their eye that they see, if there's a you know, question of damage, because a lot of times if you look in the mirror, particularly when you're tired or you know, dehydrated and you know, maybe haven't slept well, the eyes are red, and most of the redness occurs in that band that goes from, you know, the outside of the eye to the inside of the eye.
Yes, it does.
And in some cases that's a disease which is called pingueculum. Pingueculum is not cancerous, but it's a thickening of normal tissue, and it can by itself cause irritation because it's a little thicker than the surrounding tissue, and that can also grow onto the cornea, and when that happens we give it a new name. We call it pterygium, P-T-E-R-Y-G-I-U-M, pterygium. And it can progress as well to form cancer, and there are a variety of skin cancers that occur on the surface of the eye. And so, you know, a good message for everybody who's listening today is that if you have something on the surface of your eye that looks abnormal, particularly if it's new, it's good to ask your eye doctor for an exam to look and make sure that there's that it's nothing to be worried about. For comfort, you can again take lubricant eye drops, but it's good to make sure that it's nothing serious. So,
all right, good to know. So, really easy protection, and it can be fairly inexpensive.
It doesn't need to be a big investment to take care of yourself.
All right, good advice for the summer and really year-round here.
Yeah, Terrific to talk to you again.
All right, always good to see you.
Thank you, my friend.
You take care, and we'll be right back.
When a loved one requires ongoing assistance and attention, home-related care and caregiving become viable alternatives to an existence dependent upon hospitalization. Your home care provides thoughtful general care and assistance with the basic necessities of daily living, all within familiar surroundings. Call 949-215-0004 to schedule a personal in-home consultation.
When you travel with AAA, you get more than a vacation. You get exclusive AAA member benefits, special offers on unforgettable experiences, and the travel planning knowledge of your own AAA travel agent. When you travel with AAA, you get the vacation of your dreams. To save on a pleasant holidays vacation, visit your local AAA travel agent today.
We all know there's no place like home. You want to stay in your own home, but day-to-day tasks are getting more difficult to manage. Acticare is the solution. We are the trusted care partner in your community with 5-star reviews. You've taken care of others all your life. Now is the time to let us help you. In-home care is a safe and effective way to help you remain living independently in the comfort of your own home.
Acticare, responsive in-home care. Your first day is free.
Hi, I'm Brian Rott, President and CEO of Cartmart here in Laguna Woods. My family's been in the golf cart business since 1959, and we win our customers over with the simple belief of we treat you right. We are proud to be the authorized dealer for Club Cart here in Orange County and your go-to source for the sales and service to other major brands. We're conveniently located on El Toro Road, just minutes from Laguna Woods. So come by and see for yourself, while when doing business with Cartmart, there's no reason to go anywhere else.
Welcome back. You may have some questions regarding escrow, and who knew that you can actually pick your own escrow company and not rely strictly on the real estate agent. I have Bernadette Kirkus, who's here with escrow options, to tell us how that works. Well, welcome. I got your name right?
Yes.
Oh,
you
good,
did. Thank
good. So yeah, I mean, super interesting, because as we were talking earlier, it's interesting to me to know that you actually can pick your own escrow company when buying or selling a home. So tell me how that actually works.
Right. So it actually is already in the purchase contract where it states, choice of escrow services.
Okay.
A lot of the times the realtor does navigate that because you're going to trust in the professional to help you pick out the third parties you're working with.
Right.
But we also want to make sure that the consumer is educated enough to understand that they do have a choice and a say. And there's specific questions they can be asking their realtor just to ensure that the third parties that are being used are vetted, going to be protecting their assets, because with escrow is, they're holding the majority of the funds.
Right.
So you want to make sure that your assets are protected at the highest level.
So has there been instances in the past where
Yes.
monies have gone, or how,
Yes.
what kind of problems
Absolutely.
are there?
So last year alone, it was reported that almost $30 million in just Orange County went missing, having to do with wire fraud and cyber theft.
Oh my.
Yes, so that's why a lot of escrow companies are kind of starting to see the light, and they're trying to help prevent a lot of this, or at the very least reduce that risk.
Okay.
So what we're doing as an escrow company makes us a little bit different, is that we've actually gone through a training course with the FBI on cyber fraud.
Okay.
So we've put those controls in place, those protocols in place to ensure that nothing like that happens.
Okay.
Luckily for us, we've been in business since 2005 without a single loss or wire fraud instance that has happened to us.
Okay, so when you say that you went through a whole FBI class, what did they point out to you that was really important?
Basically just how to look for, phishing scams, certain types of email issues, what you can do to protect your IT part of the organization as a whole.
Okay.
What to do in the event that you start noticing that fraud is going to begin to occur. So we've actually been able to stop different types of cyber threats that have been attempted in our company, where we've caught the person and been able to refer them to FBI and then gotten them arrested. So.
Right. Right, and what kind of, is it equipment or software that you have employed in your systems to be able to prevent that?
Everything. Everything from background checks on our employees to equipment, different softwares. We have an SSAE certification, which is the highest standard level of a certification in our industry that ensures that we have those controls in place. It has to be renewed every single year because technology is ever changing.
Right.
So we have that in place as well.
Okay. So if someone was going to sell their home or purchase the home and they went to a real estate agent, what are some of the things that they should be asking the real estate agent about the escrow companies that they choose?
Well, the very first question they should ask is how protected is the escrow company? What kind of protocols do they have in place to ensure that my money and my assets aren't going anywhere? Because it's not just the funds, but it's also their personal information. We hold a lot of that, including social security numbers, driver's license numbers, property addresses, all of that. So if you're not going to be at risk for losing your funds, you could be at risk for identity theft. So it's protecting that as a whole, especially now with technology being as vastly used as it is, especially in real estate, and that's not going anywhere. So it's best to educate yourself and make sure that the people you're working with have also been educated on that and know what to look for so they can protect themselves as well.
Right. So what if the real estate agent doesn't use you at this time, but somebody would like to use you? Is it something that a buyer or seller is able to request?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mostly will be with the seller. So they can, talk to their real estate agent. Their real estate agent says, well, I'm using this company and here's what they have in place. And the seller thinks, I'd rather work with Escrow Options Group because I know that they have, the A, B, and C together. I know that they've never suffered a loss or had a wire fraud occur in their organization.
Right.
Let's look into that option. Usually it's a conversation between them and their realtor. It's a great way to think about it as if, your real estate agent is your primary physician and you need to go see a specialist.
Oh, okay.
You're going to rely on what your realtor is going to suggest, but you can still have that conversation with them and still ask those questions because at the end of the day, it's your health you're asking about.
Okay.
It's the same thing in real estate. At the end of the day, it's your assets that you're asking about.
Right, right. Now you mentioned that you have background checks on your employees. So would you say that that has been one of the most common problems in some escrow companies, is that it's an inside situation?
It's not, but we just do it as an extra layer of protection because it has happened, but it's very rare and very small, but it's still there. So as long as it's there, we just want that extra layer of protection.
Okay. Now, as you can see, many of the companies, have been hit hard with some cybersecurity. So it's good to know that you guys are protecting their assets that way.
Yeah,
what are some other things that a seller should consider with an escrow company?
Well, it's really nice to meet the escrow people as well. So once you're talking to your realtor and you've opened up that conversation and, for example, they say, okay, let's check out Escrow Options Group. It'd be great to have them, come in, meet your escrow officer. We have tons of information, booklets on this kind of stuff. We have a home seller's guide, a home buyer's guide as well that walks them through from the beginning of the transaction to post-closing, so they actually know what to expect.
Right.
You really want to trust the escrow company that you're working with, which is what we try and instill in not only the realtors as our clients, but the consumer as well.
Okay. Okay. All right, good. And if anybody had any questions, what's the best place for them to go to? Would it be your website?
They could be our website, absolutely. Okay. They can also contact our Irvine office. We have 2 Laguna Woods specialists that are in there.
Oh, okay.
So they handle nothing but Laguna Woods transactions, and they've been doing it for years.
Okay.
So just they're in our Irvine office. They're more than welcome to just either walk in or give them a call or go on our website and send them a request in there.
Okay. And then at what point should the seller be thinking about this? Is it after they've already hired or put their house on the market, or should they do it beforehand?
I would suggest doing it once you hire your real estate agent because you're probably already going to be putting your home on the market, but you want to make sure that as soon as that offer gets accepted that you understand who those companies are that are going to be involved in your transaction.
Okay.
Because your realtor is driving that car, but who are those passengers? So you want to make sure that you know everybody that's involved and everyone that's touching your information and touching your money and that kind of thing.
Well, I certainly don't think I've thought about this at all, so I appreciate the information. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
And remember, if you wanted additional information, you could go to escrowoptions.com. And don't forget, you can actually ask for an escrow agent. We'll be right back after this.
Hiring a realtor you trust is the first step in selling your home. Selecting an escrow company that can safeguard your money and personal information throughout the transaction is the next step. Escrow Options will guarantee the safety of your personal information and funds from the risks of wire fraud and cyber theft. Choose the escrow company that works for you. Escrow Options Group, protecting consumer assets in escrow since 2005.
Crystal Cove State Park is a beautiful coastal property boasting miles of coastline and thousands of acres of wildlife. But behind all that is Crystal Cove Conservancy. I have Alex Dunn, who's the CEO and president of the Crystal Cove Conservancy, here to tell us all about it. Well, thank you for having us out here. What a beautiful piece of property.
Thank you for coming down. So Crystal Cove Conservancy is the only nonprofit operating here at Crystal Cove State Park. And our mission is preservation, conservation, and education, and thinking about the next generation of environmental leaders.
Right, so now preservation, tell me a little bit about how that works here. I mean, there's a lot of land.
Yes, there is, and we do work in the backcountry, which is 2,400 acres, as well as the historic district, which is where you are today. Here we have 46 cottages, of which we've restored. But the educational part is a lot what people don't know that we do here at Crystal Cove. Now, in 1999, the organization was founded to produce a different vision for Crystal Cove State Park. The state park became a park in 1979, but in 1999 there was a vision for a luxury resort here. And the organization was founded on a different vision, which was open public access, so have everyone come to the park and enjoy it. Also education, as well as affordable accommodations on the coast.
So education programs, what kinds of things do you have here?
So we mainly focus in two areas. One is marine biology, where students from underserved schools come out on boats. We leave from Newport Harbor, and they go out onto the ocean and they conduct biological experiments. It's all to inspire them to maybe think about science as a career. We also have environmental science in our Morro Canyon and our environmental study loop, where students can come and learn how to do land management. And it's a citizen science program, so they're collecting data that is then used by state parks to make decisions.
And then I know you have some art projects and some crafts and those kinds of things. What's some fun things that people can bring their grandchildren or children to do?
Well, on Wednesdays, we have public days where you can come down and participate in a variety of programs, from sea glass making, so we actually collect sea glass on the beach, and then people can make jewelry for yourself, for your grandchildren, or anyone you want, to really memorialize your day here at Crystal Cove State Park, and with looking around and taking in all the historic, beautiful cottages, but then also taking something with you that you can remember your wonderful day.
So tell me a little bit about Crystal Cove Conservancy. I mean, there's a lot involved, especially, and it's been quite some time that it's been going on.
Well, that's right. So what we do is we are the operations behind the park. So that means a few things. One is the guest services. We take care of the folks that stay with us overnight, and that's managed by Crystal Cove Management Company, which is also part of the Conservancy, and also the food operations here. But then folks can also be part of our education that we have. So remember, it's preservation, conservation, and education, and that's what we focus on here.
So where is Crystal Cove? I mean, I know it's on the beach, but where about?
So Crystal Cove is between Laguna and Newport Coast, and Newport Beach, so Corona del Mar. And it's real easy to get here. We have parking for a day use fee, and you can take a shuttle right down to the historic district and then spend the day with us. So take in some of the historic cottages, maybe have a meal at the Beachcomber Cafe or at the Shake Shack up top, or spend the day here at the beach. I mean, it's a beautiful coast. It's also an outdoor classroom for children to explore and be inspired by, and so come on down and be part of what we're doing. You can find out at crystalcove.org on our website. You can also be a member of Crystal Cove Conservancy, and we have a monthly newsletter that talks all about what's happening down in this beautiful community.
And if somebody wanted to donate, how do they do that?
Well, you can donate a variety of ways. One is the website, but if you're not comfortable doing that, you can call the office or come down to cottage number 5, and we'll be here and happy to help you. There are membership brochures throughout the park.
Now, this is a state park, right? So you do have to follow state park rules and regulations, and I'm assuming there's charging for parking and things like that?
That's correct. So we are a state park here, so we have a lot of great things because we are a park. There are wheelchairs to go out onto the beach if that's something that you need. We also have, our paths are nice and wide and very well maintained. There is a day use fee for parking, which is $15. And other than that, you can just enjoy yourself out in this beautiful park.
Now, you said that there are wheelchairs. So what if somebody like had some disabilities? How can they drive down, or how does that work?
So we do have parking at Los Trancos, and we do have ADA parking there. Then there's a shuttle that brings you down to the historic district, so it'll cross over a coast highway and bring you down to the historic district for a drop-off. And then from there are wheelchairs that you can take into the historic district and out onto the sand.
Well, excellent. Well, thank you so much for the information, and I mean, unbelievably gorgeous down here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then next up, we're going to talk with Laura Davick, who's going to tell us a little bit about the new preservation program. We'll be right back.
What is this? A world of nothing? A world with nobody in it?
With over 46 cottages, there are 17 left to restore. Laura Davick has history here at Crystal Cove, and she is here to tell us about the preservation of the 17 cottages that you see here behind us. Well, thank you for having us. I really appreciate it, and so much work to be done.
Yes, we do have our work cut out for us here. As you mentioned, these are the final 17 cottages here at Crystal Cove. We also call this a Heritage Legacy Project for California. This really is the last piece of Crystal Cove, and we are committed to seeing this through. You might ask where we're at right now. It's quite a large project for an organization like ourselves, but we've made some significant progress. So I'd like to describe the project to you if I could. Okay, the project will be completed in 2 steps. First, we'll come in and we'll do the infrastructure portion of the project, and then come back in and do the second part, which is the restoration. So the total cost of this project is $35 million. And when people hear that number, we have to explain to them that over 17.5 of that is in preparing this site. So we have to stabilize some bluffs, we have to put in all utilities, underground lift stations, and then a 650-foot boardwalk that will come down the entire front of this project. There really is no public access here. And so once we do the infrastructure, we'll come back and do the restoration, which is about a $16 million cost to the project. Time frame for the whole project is 5 years.
Now you have some money raised already, and then you're looking at some other things. Tell me about some of the ways that you can raise the money and some of the projects that you're working on.
Well, first I want to explain to you a milestone that has just occurred. As of June 8th, the Packard Foundation has approved a $10 million low-interest loan, and this loan is intended to bridge the gap of the funds that we have already raised and the funds still needed for the infrastructure. So we are honored. We are so honored to have them involved in this project, and it's a wonderful opportunity for this park. So how that will work is that $5 million of that $10 million loan will be tied to the business model here, and so that's revenue that's generating coming off the top of cottage rentals, food service, etc. So that's the easy part. A little bit more challenging part is the other $5 million, which is tied to pledges. Now, a pledge is a promise basically to make a donation over a period of 1 to 5 years. So we have what's called the Summer Campaign Challenge that we're working on right now, and that's to raise the $5 million in pledges. So I'm very pleased to say we've raised over $1.1 million so far, so we're looking at approximately 3.9 to fulfill this requirement. But what this does for this park is this serves as a catalyst to really help us bridge that gap and inspire others in this community to step forward. This is truly a legacy project, and I'm actually, I'm the campaign chair of this project. I personally have made a 5-year pledge for this project, and I'm asking others in the community to consider joining us in doing so that we can begin this project and hopefully start construction before the end of this year. So for more information about this, you can go to our website, and you can always go to crystalcove.org under Support North Beach Restoration to find out where we're at. So it's an exciting project, it's an exciting time for our organization, and we couldn't be more thrilled with this new opportunity.
Now, even though I know you have a summer challenge, it's going to be an ongoing process to raise money. So if people want to participate, how would you recommend they do that?
Well, first of all, they can do that anytime throughout the year in a variety of ways, either by making a donation or making a pledge to the project. Also, we are very much interested in planned gifts, estate gifts, any number of ways, and you can learn all about how to be part of this project by going to our website. And I have to tell you why this is important, because this truly is, I think, one of Orange County's most iconic destinations, right? This is a place like no other. It's the last intact example of early vernacular architecture, which basically means a seaside community that was built without architects or without plans. It's also on the National Register of Historic Places, and it's one of California's newest historic landmarks. Beyond that, it's this project here that creates the sustainable future for this entire park. And people may say, well, how do you do that? And that's based upon our long-term contract that we have of investing proceeds back into this park. So we will be maintaining all of these cottages once completed, just like we do the rest of the cottages. And then the surplus revenues will go back into the park and back to us to expand our education and conservation programs. So it is imperative that we save these final 17 cottages, and we're so close, and I have to say we're so grateful to so many that have come before us to help. And so this is our last big final push.
Well, just think about it. If you have 17 more cottages, that means you might not have to wait 6 months to get one.
Well, it will double the overnight rental capacity here, so it will actually add 24,000 additional heads on pillows. And in addition to that, we have an education program that's developing, which is all about coastal engineering. So one of the cottages on the North Beach will actually be a dorm that students can come down to and have a 2-night stay here. So we're working with UCI and also the Henry Samueli School of Engineering to develop programs that will educate students and the general public about all the issues affecting the coastline of California. So it's a win-win for everybody, and everybody loves Crystal Cove. And so we're just asking it, if you do love Crystal Cove, come on down, learn more about what we're doing. I do a public tour the third Sunday of every month from 12 to 2, and you can come down and learn about all of the things that are wonderful here at Crystal Cove.
And it's not a bad place to be. I mean, it is just gorgeous here. Thank you for having us. Good luck to you, and congratulations on everything that you've done up to this point.
Well, thank you. We have a great big group of people that are working to see this through, but we do need people in the community to come forward at this time for this final leg. So thank you for this opportunity, and we hope to see everyone here at Crystal Cove.
All right, well, I know you'll see us back. Thank you.
Just up the ways from Laguna Woods is the El Toro Water District headquarters. And I'm standing here with Sherry Seitz with the El Toro Water District. We're going to take a little tour in their brand new garden, their WaterWise demonstration garden, right?
Yes, we're so excited to share this with the community.
It's a beautiful opportunity for people to see what can be done to have water-wise, drought-tolerant plants. And you may not have all the space that you folks have, but this can all be done in just a small space and just give people general ideas, right?
Correct, yes. We have over 100 varieties, so there is more than enough to pick from for your specific needs.
All right, well, it's a beautiful day out here, a little windy, but it's perfect. Let's take a walk, right?
All right, let's
go. So tell me how this garden started out.
So about 5 years ago, we partnered with the Saddleback College Landscape Design alumni to design a conceptual drawing on what we could do with this space. And we got their design, and then we worked with Richard Fisher and Associates on an actual landscape architect design. And then when the funding was right and the grants and rebates were available, that's when we moved ahead with the project a few years ago, and it's finally complete.
You did such a great job, all your landscape folks, and it's beautiful, and yet, again, these plants don't require a lot of water or really a lot of maintenance, right?
That's correct. They're California-friendly, drought-tolerant, and native plants throughout the garden.
And what's also great is people can walk around here, and I certainly don't know the names of a lot of these plants. Most of them I don't, but you've got little signs all around the area. So those people who know that kind of stuff, they'll be able to look at them and understand them.
Correct. They can take a picture with their cell phone of the plant and the plant ID sign. And just around the corner is our Mediterranean garden. If you garden in California, chances are you enjoy what is known as Mediterranean climate. Though the boundaries are not precise, California's Mediterranean climate region is usually described as west of the Sierra Nevada mountains and south of Mendocino, but does not include the southeastern part of the state. And actually a couple weeks ago we had Boy Scouts from 4 troops represented that came out on a rainy day to help install all these garden signs, in addition to representatives from the Lake Forest Garden Club. So it was a great community project.
Yeah, very nice. Now, if people want to come out here and see this, I understand that it's open 365 days a year for self-guided tours, right?
That's correct. Yes, we have brochures at both the entrance signs, and they can walk through, look at all the different plants, see what they can use in their area, and then during the year we will have landscape classes and tours available throughout the year.
Now, I have to ask, what was here before? Was it just lawn?
So originally, there was 27,000 square feet of water-thirsty turf and about 6,000 square feet of vegetation that we replaced. So we are saving, we're approximating about 50% in water use.
Wow.
By redoing the garden.
And people might see a little turf behind us or in the background, but that is artificial turf.
To show you that how great it looks, and with the plants around it, that's kind of soften up the artificial turf.
Now, as far as all the different plants that are out here, I may not know the names of them, but looking at all of them, I can see that most of them can easily be found at you know, the big box hardware stores and some of the nurseries around here. They're easy to come by, right?
Correct, yes, they are.
And I know from experience that some of these that I have, they can be, you can just buy small little containers. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and they'll begin to fill in very nicely. So for a small amount of money, you can really get started.
That's correct, absolutely. And start small and then expand every year.
Now, underneath the brush here, you have the mulch, which is, of course, is a good idea in any garden, even if you don't have a drought-tolerant garden, right?
Yeah. Yes, mulch prevents weeds, and it also retains water for the plants.
And as far as the kind of mulch that you have here, this is not artificial. This is real wood chips, right?
Real wood chips, and you put about 2 to 3 inches layer on.
All right, and that's the key. I learned that a long time ago. If you put a thin little layer, it doesn't do you much good. But spring for buying a few extra bags, and they're always on sale this time of the year. This is the time to do that, and it looks a lot nicer, and it will really hold the moisture in and prevent the weeds.
Yeah, and we also have a drip irrigation system throughout the property, so it helps keep that moisture in the soil.
So these plants do get irrigated water, right? So at certain times of the year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Actually, we're on a smart weather-based irrigation controller that controls it based on the weather.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know parts of the community that Laguna Woods has that as well. So that's very, very helpful, and it knows the weather coming in and how much it's going to be. Like if we get a little rain or something, then it knows I don't need to turn on right now.
Correct, absolutely. And right now there's rebates for smart irrigation controllers and for drip irrigation and to remove turf. So
where can people find the rebates?
So if they go to etwd.com and go to water conservation, they can find the rebate page.
Oh, very nice. Now, as far as how large this is, you were just telling me how much turf you replace. it really goes back quite far. Now it's we're on Los Alisos here, but around the area, around your parking lot and the little strip that goes against the road here, you did all that as well, right?
Correct. Yes, it encompasses both sides of the driveway and the parking lot and the parkways.
What about any other material that you had to replace that was over there? Was there plants over there before, or was that
yes, it was
turf?
all vegetation over there.
Okay.
Yeah. And we've utilized, obviously you can see the decomposed granite walkways and the dry riverbeds and the artificial turf. And the dry riverbeds actually collect the water, any water runoff, and it percolates down into the soil so it doesn't run off into the storm drain and out to the ocean. So
that's a very important factor, because sometimes people in the area that have homes in the area might do something like this, but they don't account for when we do get heavy rains, where does that water go? It still has to go somewhere.
Right, absolutely. And then you can also, next to the dry riverbeds, you can plant plants so that water that's going in there will feed those plants.
Wow, so it's all synergy, right? Again, people can come up here 365 days a year. It's always open.
Yep.
And take a walk around. There are these plaques all over, and you saw us walk around. There's one way down there at the other end. And in each place is going to tell you about that particular location, right?
Yeah, we have 4 themed gardens, Mediterranean, Australian, South African, and a succulent garden. And then we also have signage on water conservation. So, yeah.
Wow, it's like a little trip around the world.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for giving us a tour. I really appreciate it. And it just shows that, drought-tolerant plants, water-wise plants, whatever you want to call them, can be absolutely beautiful. They can be inexpensive if you start small and you got something planned out in advance. That's the key. You can end up with an absolutely beautiful, usable garden, right?
Absolutely.
Sherry, thank you very much. Always good to see you and all the folks from the El Toro Water District. And you can go online to etwd.com. You can get more information in general about the Water District, about this garden, and what you can do, even if you have a little patio, how you too can be water-wise.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm John Bowser-Bauman. You probably know me best as Bowser from Sha-Na-Na, but I'm also president of Social Security Works PAC. And you know, when I'm in Laguna Woods, I always watch Village television. Grease for peace.
Well, our movie coming up for Friday is Chappaquiddick. And if you remember that infamous time with the Kennedy family, with Ted Kennedy, this happened in 1969, where Senator Kennedy drove his car into a lake, killing a young campaign strategist, and the subsequent political and social ramifications that came of that. So this is a new movie. In fact, I'm not even sure if it was out in theaters because I don't recall it ever seeing an ad for this. This might have been like direct to HBO or something like that movie, or an Amazon Prime movie, because I don't remember it in theaters. Do you?
No, I didn't see it at all. So, you know, sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
It just depends.
But we're showing this to you on Friday, and it's at 2 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. And then we got a really, I think, a really fun movie you're going to tell us about on Monday.
It's called Ready Player One, and that's going to be on Monday, August 6th. And that has a couple of interesting characters that actually are inside a sort of a virtual reality world. That's Ty Sheridan and Olivia Cook, and this is directed by Steven Spielberg, so it should be really entertaining. When the creator of a virtual reality world called the Oasis dies, he releases a video in which he challenges all Oasis users to find his Easter egg, which will give the finder his fortune. So there's a battle that goes on between a variety of, looks like, young characters that go into this pretty much game and this virtual world, and a lot of them are defending it even outside the outside the virtual reality world, but once they get in there, it's a lot of fun. So that's on Monday, August 6th at 2, and then again at 6 p.m. So excellent, fun
and
stuff.
And it's really good because, well, there's the DeLorean from Back to the Future. This involves a lot of things from the 1980s.
Oh, good.
Yeah, a lot of, it looks like a really good movie. I have not seen it yet, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Looks fun, looks
yeah.
fun.
So
Okay.
you're going to tell us about
Grandparents Fun Day. This looks amazing. Clubhouse 2 on Saturday, August 4th from 2 to 6 p.m. The tickets went on sale July 9th, and you can purchase them at Clubhouse 2 or in the recreation office. It's $10 per person, but kids under 2 is free. And Pool 2 will be open for all ages during the event from 2 to 6. Those who want to swim. Children are only permitted to wear or use Coast Guard approved flotation devices, so those include those built into the swimsuit, and may not use kickboards or toys of any kind at the pool, so just make sure you do that ahead of time. Now, the fun activities are going to go on at the Grandparents Fun Days. They're going to have a Euro bungee, a rock wall, inflatable maze, bounce houses, a toddler playground, a building booth, a mad science experiment booth, face painting, arts and crafts, and then of course the fun carnival games and prizes. And then the tasty treats, of course, some of my favorite, that's kind of like you're going to the fair. Cotton candy, snow cones, popcorn, Magic Mike's Pizza will be there available for purchase. So that looks like a very fun day.
Yeah, that's going to be great. Now, going down to Laguna Beach, you're planning on going down there? You know, those art festivals are lasting really for another month.
Yes.
Well, here's an easy way on the weekends that you can go down there, and that's taking the Summer Breeze Laguna Beach Orange County bus service. Now, here is where you park, and you park for free. Little tricky where this is at, but I'm going to try to explain it. It's when where the 133 and the 405 kind of come together, and right there's the Laguna Canyon Road that kind of goes up to Quail Hill, and there's a huge field there. And that's where you park. And you park for free and take the bus down, and then you can transfer to the free trolleys down there to get around everything.
Yeah,
so
almost go down to San Clemente.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or
all right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right, you can. Here is our weather for the next few days, really what we've had. Humidity is still with us for probably another day or two. The humidity will go away. You can see those scattered clouds out there. However, the heat will remain as we get to the weekend. We're still going to be hovering around that 90-degree mark going forward. So unfortunately, no respite from the heat. The humidity maybe will last tomorrow, maybe into Thursday. That could be the transition day. So less humidity, but as you can see, the temps go right back up. So,
Right. Well,
yeah.
And then tomorrow we have Thrive and the Senior Center, and we might have a couple of other special guests that we'll bring you. So stay tuned, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a great day in the village.
Bye-bye.